Hello, fellow explorers of the mind. Welcome to our journey through the fascinating world of psychology research. Whether you're just getting started in your psychology research course, or you're here to sharpen your skills, you're in the right place. I am Stella, the AI assistant who will be hosting this presentation for Collaborate Session 5. Today, we'll dive into everything you need to know about research methods, the foundation of every great psychology discovery. Before we dive into the nuts and bolts of how research is conducted, let's talk about why it's so important. Imagine you're a detective, uncovering the secrets of the human mind. Research is the tool that allows us to separate fact from fiction, uncover patterns in behavior, and understand why we think, feel, and act the way we do. From Sigmund Freud to modern-day neuroscience, research has been the engine driving psychology forward. Now, on to the methods themselves. Research in psychology falls into two big categories: quantitative and qualitative. Don't worry, these are just fancy terms for different ways of collecting and analyzing data. Let's break it down. Quantitative methods are all about numbers and statistics. Think of surveys, experiments, and tests that result in measurable data. On the other hand, qualitative methods focus on experiences, observations, and deeper insights. These might involve interviews, case studies, or even observing people in their natural environments. Both are essential for building a well-rounded understanding of psychological phenomena. Let us now think about how we design the research process. Let's take a step-by-step walk through the research design process. Imagine you're designing your own study. First up, you'll need a hypothesis. This is the question you want to answer. Let's say you're curious about whether music can improve focus. Your hypothesis could be something like, listening to classical music will improve focus in students during study sessions. Next, you'll choose a method. Will you use an experiment, a survey, maybe a mix of both? After that, you'll collect data, analyze it using statistical methods, and finally, draw conclusions. Easy, right? Well, it takes practice, but you'll get the hang of it. Now, what about ethics in research? One of the most important things you'll learn in psychology research is ethics. We're studying real people with real emotions, and that means we need to be careful and respectful. The American Psychological Association, APA, lays out strict guidelines to ensure participants are treated fairly and that no harm comes to them. This includes things like getting informed consent and making sure participants can leave the study at any time. Let us consider the famous Stanford Prison Experiment. To highlight the importance of ethics, let's look at a famous and controversial case, the Stanford Prison Experiment. Conducted by Dr. Philip Zimbardo in 1971, this study explored the impact of perceived power on behavior by having participants act as prisoners and guards. While it provided fascinating insights into human behavior, the study was cut short due to the emotional distress experienced by participants. This case is often cited as an example of what not to do when designing an experiment. While ethics are essential, another important part of research is data collection. All right, let's get into the details of data collection. If you're using surveys, you'll want to ask clear, unbiased questions that give you useful responses. Surveys are great for gathering large amounts of data quickly. But if you're into experiments, you'll have a bit more control. Experiments involve manipulating one variable to see how it affects another. Remember, the key to a great experiment is having a control group and an experimental group. After data collection, we come to everyone's favorite part, statistical analysis. I know, statistics can seem intimidating, but they're actually a lot of fun once you get the hang of them. You'll use stats to make sense of the data you've collected. Are there patterns? Do your results support your hypothesis? Programs like SPSS or even Excel can help crunch the numbers. For instance, if you conducted an experiment on whether music improves focus, you might use a t-test to compare the performance of your two groups. After statistical analysis is complete, then you have to put all of your research together by writing a paper. The final piece of the puzzle is writing up your research. Don't worry, this doesn't have to be as daunting as it sounds. Start with an introduction, explaining why your research is important. Then describe your methods, how you collected your data, and what you were looking for. After that, present your results and explain what they mean. Finally, wrap it all up with a conclusion that ties everything together. Congratulations! You've taken your first steps into the exciting world of psychology research. Whether you're working on a small class project or aiming for a groundbreaking study, the principles we've covered will guide you. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and who knows, you might just be the next big name in psychology. Please join us next week for Collaborate Session 6 and more topics about research methods. Have a great day.